From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
Monday morning, a nation awakes as $1,400 third stimulus checks are expected to get major updates today. The first update is what happened to those March 26 mail checks that didn't land. The second update about your $1,400 third stimulus check is what happened with SSI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and VA Indirect Express. The next update is whether a third wave of stimulus checks, as first reported on this channel, did go out on Friday. And is the effective date, as first reported on this channel, March 31st, this Wednesday? And is there another wave of stimulus checks coming by mail checks, as the viewers of this channel have confirmed, for April 2nd to April 6th? Meantime, this video will also have breaking developing news from Chuck Schumer and what's going to be happening. New news from Dr. Walensky and Dr. Fauci, video from the president, and also that standalone bill for reoccurring stimulus checks. That major surprise from SBA. Why that reoccurring stimulus check bill may never happen but gives incredible progress. And what we ended the week with a series of comments between SSA and Treasury about your stimulus checks. All those details and more as we start a major mornings of early mornings LA, starting right now. Good morning, everyone. The toast is toasted and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and the coffee is brewing. And guess what could be here today as well? A series of major updates that we need and we're expecting from Treasury about your $1,400 third stimulus check. How are you? Good morning. It's a big Monday morning, and boy, I have a lot of updates in this video, so stay to the end because there's a lot happening. $1,400 stimulus checks in the mail, by direct deposit, by direct express card for SSI and SSDI, for stimulus, new bills from Chuck Schumer, the filibuster, SBA opening something. Wow, that's a lot of news. Also, send your prayers to the people in the Midwest hit by the ravages in the Southeast from the tornadoes and the flooding. It's mornings, LA, and it's Monday morning. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I have a lot of news throughout the day. I don't want you to miss anything. It's going to be a big news day. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member of Hawk, Power, or Calcino VIP. The link is at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking developing news. That is what was exclusively in a world exclusive reported by this channel over the weekend, that a third wave of your $1,400 third stimulus check started and completed last Friday. This is for direct deposits. The direct deposit effective date I'm reporting exclusively is this Wednesday, March 31st. And that the mail check date is shortly thereafter, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of April. Meantime, we still have a lot of viewers who haven't gotten that mail check that had a March 26 effective date across the board as well. So let me go over where we are and what has happened. These are people who are getting stimulus checks by direct deposit, and these are people who are not. Stimulus checks were delivered in a first wave on St. Patrick's Day, a Wednesday, March 17th, a second wave on March 24th, a week later. And this channel is reporting a third wave will happen this Wednesday, March 31st. What's going on? People on SSI and SSDI, Social Security and railroad benefits, and veterans benefits got stimulus checks within 24 hours after the bill was passed. And people who filed tax returns did not. And people who filed tax returns didn't get a stimulus check on the 17th. And they didn't get it on the 24th. As you sit here right now, there's a lot of different groups that haven't gotten stimulus checks, not just benefit viewers. People who file tax returns have not gotten stimulus checks. People who used the non-file filing tool last year have not gotten stimulus checks. And people on SSI and SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits who file tax returns or use the non-file filing tool have also not gotten stimulus checks. So what do you need to know? Number one, there's a new wave of stimulus checks landing by direct deposit this Wednesday, March 31st. Who could possibly get the direct deposit this 31st? First, a lot of viewers have already sent me the direct deposit pending notification. This includes people from big banks, people from credit unions, also people from Direct Express. Yes, they've gotten the alert from Direct Express. These are people who got the first and second stimulus check by direct deposit, or they're on benefits, and every month their benefits go to a bank deposit account, like a checking account or a savings account, at let's say a big bank like Chase or Bank America. Third, people on Direct Express have pending deposits for this 31st. They would also get stimulus checks as well, potentially. And finally, people who updated their information for IRS with a 2020 tax return early enough, they're getting a stimulus check by the 31st potentially as well. So who is not getting a direct deposit stimulus check on the 31st? The same group. Yes. What we know from Treasury is that a large number of people who would normally get a direct deposit are actually getting it in the mail. This is everyone. We saw that last Monday, a week ago today, when Treasury said, yes, you would be set up normally to get it by direct deposit, yes, but yours will come in the mail. How many? They said a large percentage. How many is this viewership of this channel showing? 50%. Who is the 50% included? 50% of Direct Express consumers have alerts that says it's coming in the mail. 50% of people with big banks show it's coming in the mail. And which dates are they getting? More about that in a second. So what you need to know is that you may be getting it on the 31st, or you may not be getting it at all by direct deposit. It may be in the mail. How do we know which day in the mail? I'll be getting to that in a second. Stay with me for later in this video. So what you're likely to see today is that IRS or Treasury or Janet Yellen statement says, yes, we sent out a third wave last Friday, and that third wave will have an effective date of March 31st for direct deposit. What does that mean when they say it? Let me explain. When they have an effective date of a direct deposit 31st, the big banks, the Chase and the B of A, don't release the funds until the 31st. Smaller banks like Cash App, Bank, Chime, H&R Block, Green Emerald Card did release first and second wave stimulus checks before their effective date, so they could release the funds today. Over the weekend, MetaBank and NetSpend did release funds of the third wave before the effective date. Treasury said last Monday, this is up to banks ultimately when they do. Some may do it, some may not do it. It's up to them to determine who wants to release the funds ahead of time. Would they release the funds after the 31st? Rare circumstances they do, but generally it's before the 31st or on the 31st. Now, would you get an alert before the deposits hit? This is the number one question I get across the board. I don't have an alert from my bank. I don't have an alert from Direct Express. I don't have any information from that IRS tool. Am I getting a direct deposit? Yes, potentially. Yes, potentially you could. We have had, under first stimulus of last year, second stimulus of last year, and now two waves of third stimulus, checks just show up in direct deposit. They just do. They just show up in direct deposit. No prior notification, no prior alert. They just show up. And for the mail, the same thing. They just show up in the mail when you weren't able to track it. Now, I know how we are. We're in the 2021 year, and it's a digital era, and we love to buy and shop online. And we track that shirt that we buy online all the way from the warehouse to it lands on the front porch. And if we can't track it for 10 seconds, we freak out. So it's unnatural for us to not be able to track a stimulus check from leaving Treasury to landing where it's going to land, mailbox or direct deposit. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming somewhere. So how do you figure out where it's coming? And when do you figure out where it's coming? Here's what you need to know. If your bank has no deposit for you on the 31st, if your bank has no alert for you that a deposit occurs on the 31st, and you don't get an alert, and if you don't get a deposit on the 31st, it's in the mail. Direct Express consumers, you're getting checks in the mail. Some of you. Big bank consumers, some of you are getting checks in the mail. How many? Large, says Treasury. How many I'm seeing from the viewership of this channel? Nearly 50%. So which day would the mail checks land? I'll be getting to that in a second. But what I want to start with first is a series of questions that I got over the weekend. I want to answer each one at a time. Has anyone on SSI and SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, got a stimulus check? Of course. They got stimulus checks within 24 hours after the bill passed. People on Cash App and Chime got it with the first day. H&R Block got the following Monday, and then a lot got it on March 17th. These are the banks that paid stimulus checks on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, including the viewers on SSI and SSDI. They're Citizens Bank, PNG, Bancorp, Chime, PayPal, NetSpend, Green Dot, People United Bank, U.S. Bank, PNC, Capital One Bank, Lake Michigan, MetaBank, Amex, Bluebird, Navy Federal, BBT, Wood Forest, Union Bank, USAA, Wells, Bank America, Chase, Emerald Blue, Green Card, and also TurboTax. Then the next question is, did anyone on SSI and SSI get a stimulus check on the March 24th? They did. These were the banks that paid stimulus checks by direct deposit on the 24th. Chase again, Green Dot again, Citizens again, Bank America again, H&R again, Regions again, TD Bank again, Direct Express for the first time, because they had not paid it on St. Patrick's Day, PNC again, Wells again, Arvest for the first time, U.S. Bank again. Has any bank paid third stimulus check? They have. NetSpend, MetaBank paid stimulus checks to some viewers over the weekend on Saturday. So that is the direct deposit. It's very hard for people to see something different than what happened before. But what I have to make very clear to you, as Treasury has made very clear, you got the first stimulus check of 2020 by direct deposit. You got the second one by direct deposit. You get your benefits on SSI or SSDI every month. You get a letter from Treasury saying, we sent you a stimulus check. They know where you are. Why does this third stimulus check have to go in the mail? It's just gonna go in the mail. So you need to watch that mail, because that stimulus check comes in a wider beige envelope and it's so easy to throw away. And trust me, it is not a stimulus check you want to be throwing away. You don't want to be throwing away a stimulus check. More about that check and what it looks like in just a second. But breaking news over the weekend, if you did not catch it on this channel, was that SBA had some really great news. First, it's increasing EIDL loans. So if you have an EIDL loan for 2020, you can now increase it. This is a big issue for a lot of viewers who have wanted to increase their loan and could not. Second, SBA has now set up to accept pre-requests for applications for the Shuttered Venue Grant. The Shuttered Venue Grant is that standalone grant. You can get that as well. Meantime, if you want to use a way to track your stimulus check, if you know it's in the mail, use something called Informed Delivery by USPS. It's at usps.gov. It's free. It'll take an image of every mail that's coming to you, and you can watch if that check is coming. All right, what is that check that's coming going to look like? What does the envelope look like? Let me cut back to that right now. The envelope is beige or white. It has in there either a check or a debit card. It's a nondescript envelope, doesn't have anything on the outside, no seal, no stamp, no logo, no anything. It is easy to throw away. So please do not sit back and say, I'm just looking at Direct Express. If it ain't there, I'm calling up Direct Express. I'm not looking at the mail. No, 50% of the viewers are getting it in the mail. You do not want to miss the mail. It may be in the mail. It's a white envelope. It's a beige envelope. It is indescript. It literally looks like junk mail, and it's easy to throw away. You don't know it's money until you open it up, and bam, right in there is a skinny little check, $1,400 to start. More about that and when you should know what that delivery date is of the stimulus check for mail. And what do you do if that IRS tool has no information about you? How can you fix that? I'll have all those details and more, but stay with me. I'll be back in about 60 seconds after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LA. Thank you for joining me. If you missed EIDL overnight, please tune into that because that grant may be going live relatively soon. And if you miss FPC Retro, that could be heating up because there's a push to put it into the fourth stimulus package. That is now archived on the channel. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Subscribe and like. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Let's see if we can get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 likes on this video. Also, if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. New video released overnight from the White House and from Chuck Schumer as well. I'll be getting to that details as well. But first, let's listen to Dr. Wedlinski that talks about the resurgence of the virus and how the new strain B117 is a concern across the United States.
Mostly, it is, our percent of those of the variants is a little bit lagging behind our data because it takes a while to do the sequences and to sequence the variants and do that population-based analysis. But yes, we're worried about the increase.
Yeah. The inability to get that information out quick enough is a recurring message from Wedlinski that says, it just takes a while to get this information. And when we do, we have to do the sequencing. So we may have more numbers on the virus sequencing B117 in the next few days. Meantime, at the end of last week, the president over the weekend, the president announced that the VP will be heading the border issue. Let's listen in on that message from the president.
Their borders. We're already talking with Mexico about that. She's already done that. We're going to be dealing with a full team now that we have to be able to deal with the problem here at home, but also to deal with it now in terms of in country. And I can think of nobody who's better qualified to do this than this is a woman who ran the second largest Attorney General's office in America after the United States Attorney General in the state of California, and has done a great deal upholding human rights, but also fighting organized crime in the process. So it's not her full responsibility and job, but she's leading the effort because I think the best thing to do is to put someone who, when he or she speaks, they don't have to wonder about, is that where the president is? When she speaks for me, doesn't have to check with me, she knows what she's doing, and I hope we can move this along. But
also moving along over the weekend was the push for forced stimulus. Forced stimulus will heat up today, as the president is expected to detail his first itemizations of forced stimulus. In advance of that, another push for recurring stimulus checks from this representative over the weekend. Tlaib and Jalapal introduced a standalone bill that will provide recurring stimulus checks. Good, but the idea is too unfounded. It starts normal with a $2,000 stimulus check for the first month and then $1,000 per month thereafter. All fine until you get to the remainder of the idea, which is a $1,000 stimulus check every month a year after the pandemic's over, an idea that'll never pass. The idea of paying stimulus checks to the middle of next year, the end of next year, $30,000 in stimulus checks over a year and a half with maybe 6 months still left in this pandemic is not going to happen. But what did happen on Friday was the $1,400 third stimulus checks did go out in a third wave. Your head of SSA, Saul, issued this statement, all in past tense. Once we are free to move forward, we aggressively work with Treasury and IRS to issue payments. Commissioner Saul, Andrew Saul, said that we got the money out the door. Earlier in the week, he was under fire for asking why that money had not gotten out. And at issue was whether information was lacking. What's important to understand is that the letter from Representative Neal talking about the situation was unfounded. It basically said that the reason why stimulus checks have not been paid was this reason, and that reason, and basically blamed this individual. It's not actually that situation. Why? Let me tell you right now why it is. The Neal letter was accurate in saying that stimulus checks had not been paid. That was absolutely accurate. It was accurate in saying that SSI and SSDI had not gotten stimulus checks. That was accurate. It was not accurate in saying that was the only group of people who had not gotten stimulus checks. And it was also not accurate by saying that the reason why they hadn't got stimulus checks is because Treasury doesn't know where you are. Why? Because I have thousands and tens of thousands of viewers over the weekend who confirmed that they are on SSI and SSDI and have a stimulus check result on irs.gov for over a week that says March 26 mail check. Far before Neal wrote his letter, viewers on benefits on the IRS tool show a check for mail of March 26. So the issue is not identifying you, who you are, where you live. They have that identification. It's in the actual IRS tool. It's just the issue is the check has not gotten where it needs to go. So today, one of the two big issues we're going to see today are, one, the likely statement from Treasury says there was a third wave of stimulus checks that went out last Friday, and two, the significance of whether checks are delayed. March 26th, that mail check delayed, boy, it's a big issue and we don't know where it's going. Why? Because I got thousands and thousands of viewers who have a March 26th date and didn't get it on 26th, didn't get it on the 27th. I have a few that got on the 27th and a very, very few number that got on the 23rd, but the most of them have not gotten it. Today will be the first mail date since the 27th. So we will see if those stimulus checks do show up today. That will be where we're going. If they don't show up today, if they are not delayed, then it means they weren't mailed. Also, what could also happen is the tool could update itself again to change that date. It did for a few people, but not for a lot. Over the weekend, a lot of viewers started to go from a date to April 2nd to 5th, or no date to April 2nd to 5th. What is the April 2nd to 5th? It's the new mail date. So viewers are getting the 2nd of April, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th is the latest date for a mail check. Yes, so now I have 50% of the viewers of this channel, which includes 50% of the viewers on SSI and SSDI, which includes 50% of the people on Direct Express card, getting alerts that it's not coming in direct deposit, it's coming in the mail. And they have dates from either March 26th or April 2nd to April 5th. So how do you know what date that check's going to actually land? Here's what you need to know. Generally, well, first of all, let me explain the significance of that check and that date amount and that date. When it says mail April 5th, it does not mean the check is going out April 5th, and it does not mean the check is being received April 5th. Rather, it means the date on the corner of the check is April 5th. So what date would you actually get a check that's dated in the corner April 5th? You'd likely get it 2 days ahead of time up to the date of the check. But that didn't happen for the March 26 people. I know. So something has gone astray for that March 26 drop of mailed checks. It would have dropped by the 24th, 25th, or 26th and didn't drop on the 27th either. So let's see if that fixes itself today, because this is a big, big quandary, these mail check of the March 26th. And trust me, it's a lot of viewers. It's a lot of viewers on SSI, and it's a lot of viewers on Direct Express. When we see that situation fixing, we'll see more across the board. I'll have more about this third stimulus check and what else to expect this week actually by the end of today, coming up in a second. But let's listen to that new video from Chuck Schumer that talks about what's heating up also today which is the introduction of forced stimulus. Schumer talked about what the Senate's going to be doing over the next few weeks and what it's preparing for today.
That we haven't seen since the era of Jim Crow. This week, the For the People Act, a bill critical to reforming our democracy, received its first ever Senate hearing in the Rules Committee, ably chaired by Amy Klobuchar. The Senate Judiciary Committee will also soon begin its consideration of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. In the coming weeks and months, each of these bills will receive full consideration in committee and eventually on the Senate floor. On jobs and climate change, in the coming weeks and months, the Senate will also consider legislation to rebuild our infrastructure and fight climate change, boost R&D and domestic manufacturing, reform our broken immigration system, and grow the power of American workers. Senate committees are marking up legislation to invest in clean water, environmental justice, transportation, and broadband systems, and more. Every one of these seems to have bipartisan support. Committees are also finalizing legislation to bolster American competitiveness and create good-paying jobs by making investments in emerging and critical industries here and countering the growing economic threats we face from across the globe, especially from the Chinese Communist Party.
Over the weekend, Chuck Schumer was the topic of discussion among Democrats of whether he's going to get rid of the filibuster. The filibuster remains a big issue because if the filibuster is gotten rid of in the Senate, the president will be able to get forced stimulus in through faster. Elizabeth Edwards has introduced legislation to end the filibuster. The President of the United States last week asked for the end of the filibuster. But Chuck Schumer, according to a series of reports, has yet to determine whether he wants to get rid of the filibuster.
Our country needs. Specifically, led by Senator Murray, the Senate will use the CRA to repeal the new burdensome and dilatory Equal Employment Opportunity Commission rule that gives employers an unfair advantage over workers when settling discriminatory claims.
But the big news, as we go in the new morning, is the progress to get stimulus checks out the door and to ensure they land where they need to land. Social Security employees have literally worked around the day and night with IRS staff to ensure that the electronic files of Social Security SSI recipients are complete, accurate, and ready to be used to issue payments, said Saul Thursday. And then there was a series of comments that came before Thursday that were deeply troubling as we demand immediate answers why it's been taking so long to get the payments out the door. But along the way, we got a lot of stuff over the weekend and late last week that made no sense, like this comment from Treasury that said, well, some of you didn't file tax returns and some of you didn't use the non-filer filing tool. That makes no sense because the non-filer filing tool was not supposed to be used if you're on benefits. If you're on benefits, you're always told in 2020, we know where you are. You don't have to use the non-filer filing tool. In fact, don't use it was the comment that Treasury had throughout all of 2020. But as you go in the new morning of Mornings LALATE and start a Monday, this is what you need to know. This is the big recap. First, 14 out of third stimulus checks went out in the third wave on Friday. Number two, these are exclusive details you're only hearing on this channel. Went out on the third wave on Friday. Number two, some viewers, will get them by direct deposit on the 31st. Number three, some viewers will get them by mail check April 2nd to April 5th. Number four, thousands of viewers who are waiting for that March 26th check will look again in the mailbox today to see if it's there. Additionally, I have people on SSI, SSI, Social Security, and Rail benefits, nearly 50% of them, and 50% of those that use the Direct Express card that have alerts that it's coming in the mail and have yet to get in the mail. So where is it in the mail? We're likely to potentially see an update of that IRS tool with new dates or clarification why mail checks were not delivered for the 26th as so indicated. This is the big quandary. Across the board, there's been a lot of strange confusions. And what I need you to know is stay positive, stay focused, and stay motivated. We've searched crazy stuff over the weekend, left and right. Among the false tales were no one on Direct Express is getting a mail check. They already have gotten mail checks. No one on Direct Express got a stimulus check on the 24th. They did get stimulus checks on the 24th. No one on SSI and SSDI has gotten a stimulus check. Also untrue. That I should only get a stimulus check by direct deposit because that's the way I got the first one and second one. Well, that's not what Treasury says. The Treasury says get ready to receive it in the mail. Finally, people have sometimes tried to say that the first and second stimulus check came without any problems for anyone. That's also untrue. There are a lot of people who got first and second stimulus checks days late or weeks late. So as we sit here right now, we're not particularly that horribly long out, but we are certainly longer than what the president promised. The video, he said 10 days after it becomes law, you would have a stimulus check, and you don't. So we will monitor together as a family. We'll watch as the market opens. The 10-year Treasury has remained relatively calm in recent days. Let's see if the 10-year Treasury note stays in place, or if the NASDAQ surges or tech rallies across the board. There's going to be a lot of news today, and I'm so excited for you. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I really do appreciate you for joining me on Early Mornings LA. If you missed EIDL overnight, check it out right now, and FPC. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You want to stay with me throughout the day because today is going to be a very, very big day. Also, like this video. Let's see if we can do 3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, keep the coffee brewing, keep the toast toasting. Stay with me, stay informed across the board. It's going to be a big day of a big week with not just third stimulus, but also now fourth stimulus heating up. We're far from that finish line. But for now, we're going to get our third stimulus checks. The question is where it lands and how soon we get the money. And we as a family together will get to the finish line. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA.